I'm Mathias, the ass-kicking machine, and you're drinking it.
All right, everybody, welcome Drinking at Mo's. Big Mo here, as always, on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all the good stuff because it helps with that pain in the ass algorithm. We're in most places you can find your audio podcast. Today, I'm excited to have with me another guy from a promotion very near and dear to me, SoCal Pro Wrestling, a guy that has been recommended to me more than once. Mathias, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and I bet people have been talking about me down here.
Yeah, no, quite often. When I was stationed down there, SoCal Pro was one of the promotions that got me started on independent wrestling, and so I try to keep up as much as possible. A little easier now with that whole Roku channel they got going with the
the live wrestling every time.
Oh yeah, and then started the podcast, and then I wanted to have as many people from down there as I could have on, and more than once your name has come up.
Yeah, I bet it has. I know that I saw it yesterday. You were recording with Anthony Idol.
Yep.
For this Saturday night.
I was gonna say I was seeing SoCal Pro again, right? Because I know you're kind of all over SoCal, so
yes, that's my home promotion. SoCal Pro Wrestling is where I got my start, and it's where I've been doing all my training. So,
yeah, and they got one of the many reputable schools down there with SoCal Pro. They do some good work down there.
Yeah, and what really stands out to me about SoCal Pro is the production value, because nobody really down here has that production value. I mean, everyone has their kind of uniqueness and stuff, but one other indie promotion has a stage that people come out on and walk down like a little ramp and stuff, plus all these lights we put up. I mean, they got barricades, they got pretty much the same stuff that WWE has, just at a lower level, and you don't see that too often with indie promotions, so they're kind of a big deal.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Hell, even when I was going to shows down there, they had not so much the lights, but they still had that production value, and nothing but great stuff about SoCal Pro.
Yeah, and they're always adding to it as well. Like, they keep coming out with new lights each time that I show up. I'm like, oh, well, that's new. That's cool. Yeah. So anything they can do to make us look good or even better than we already do.
Oh, most definitely. And before we get too far in, there's one thing that I like to start off with each guest with is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you started, when you finally decided to make the leap into the business.
Well, John Cena is really what gave me my interest in it, because I'd seen it on TV a couple of times in my younger years, but when I really saw it was like a Friday Night SmackDown or something. He was up on a table doing his rap gimmick and stuff, and I noticed that, and I kind of took some interest, but then I went away for a couple months from it, and I came back to it. And the first rivalry that I saw was between John Cena and the Great Khali, and to me, it may not have been the best matches, but it was the best story to me. It's very simple. You got this big giant guy coming out here that is just ready to annihilate anyone and everyone. And you got this young hustler coming up, and he just has to do whatever he can to get through. And it seems like the big guy just keeps knocking him down and down and down week after week. But when it comes time to go for the championship, Cena pulls through. And to me, I have three brothers. I have two older and one younger, but they are all significantly larger than me. Like, my little brother is 6 inches taller than me and at least 30, 40 pounds bigger than me. My little brother, my other bigger brothers are bigger than that.
Yeah.
So to me, it's always been that I've been, they say, the runt of the family. You know, I've always been the strong one, but I've been the small one. So
Yeah.
that was this, that story really caught on to me because I mean, that's the way it's always been in my life because I've been the small one, not necessarily fighting with my brothers, but I mean, just always seeing them and looking up to them. And that's the story that really caught my eye. So that's what originally got me interested in pro wrestling. But when it came time for me to actually do it, I mean, I've been wanting to do it for 15, 20 years, probably since I saw that is
Yeah.
really what started my journey because you see John Cena picking up the Great Khali on his shoulders, this big giant man tossing him off a crane. You know, to me, you
Yeah.
got to be pretty strong. You know, he not
Oh
only
yeah.
looks strong, he is strong. So when I got into high school and they had a high school weight room, I would be in there as often as I could, trying to get as strong as I could, because I always admired the strength behind what they do. So to me, it it got me into weightlifting, which then got me into powerlifting. I was into martial arts at the time as well, and all that helped with my fighting style. And then, you know, again, getting through powerlifting, once I finally moved down to Southern California and found a wrestling school, I mean, I got started a less than a year and a half ago, and all that's just kind of helped me in my progress so far, you know, my rapid uprise.
Oh yeah. And one thing that I was gonna say when I was putting my notes together was you in the ring, and you know when the camera's on, reminds me of somebody that's, excuse me, going towards a pretty big record right now in the WWE. And I'm talking about Gunther. Like you two right now, like I right now I'm seeing the similarities, that just no frills, just down and dirty ass kicking, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I mean that's the style that I like. I like the simplicity. I don't want to be the one that does the craziest flip and stuff. I mean, other guys can do that. I just want to go in there, kick some ass, and move on. You know, that's the kind of style that I like the Goldbergs and the Batistas and the Triple H. Like, you know, they can put matches together and go for a while, but if they don't have to, why would they? You know, I like just the straight ass kicking. You know.
Oh yeah. No, Ben, that's definitely what I'm seeing out of you right now. And that is actually kind of the style that I actually gravitate towards when I'm watching. Like I love those, just that down and dirty intensity that, you know, that's what's drawing me in. Like the guy,
That's what draws a lot of people in because I mean, you have to feel an emotion when you're seeing this. And intensity in an intense sport is relatively easy, but not everyone puts it out there. So
oh
when you
yeah.
see a guy like Goldberg or Triple H who both epitomized intensity, I mean, that's what stood out to me, and that's what's cool. I mean, you want to be as cool as you can be. I mean, those guys are badass guys.
Yeah. No, and like I was just thinking, I've seen somebody on Facebook posting about, you know, favorite matches that you've seen live. And one of mine that kind of goes towards that intensity, and I actually got to talk with both of these guys, only one for the podcast, but that's a whole nother story. But it was Jeff Cobb versus Jonah, aka Bronson Reed. And good Lord,
Yeah.
like I was close enough that I've told this story before on the podcast that like those two would be chopping each other and you could literally see the individual beads of sweat just flying off. It was freaking like, I'm sure a lot of the people around me were like, this kid's nuts, but I'm just standing there like, yes.
Yeah, when I saw Bronson Reed come out on Raw for the first time, I'm like, yes, that's the guy I want to watch. Like that was cool to me. He's like another standout character, like a Batista, like somebody's big and powerful, and they used him like that. Oh man, that I know I'm talking about LA Knight these days, and I love LA Knight, but Bronson Reed, he was stand out to me because he just tearing through people.
Oh yeah, when I saw him come back to WWE, I was like, okay, I'm loving this. Let's see where this goes, because he was actually the one that I got to talk to for the podcast. I actually somewhere up, right here in my collections, I had to get my Bronson Reed figure since I had him on the podcast. And love the guy. Now, another thing that I was wanting to talk about is, being relatively new in the business, what has it been like? Because, I mean, especially in a place that, with pro wrestling, there's two, maybe sometimes three different places that people call like meccas of pro wrestling: West Coast, East Coast. You get some sprinklings in the Midwest, more towards Chicago. But what's it like coming up, being relatively new in one of those meccas of pro wrestling in Southern California?
Well, it's been quite a ride, I can tell you that. I mean, pro wrestling, you go up and down almost on a weekly basis of your highs and your lows, but it's been a lot of fun. It's certainly a lot harder than people expect. Maybe some people can do a match, but can you do a match 3 to 5 days a week after week after week? Like it beats you up, but it's so much fun because when you're out there, you get such a feeling and you just get to be anything you want to be, essentially. So, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. I learned from a lot of great people, Tommy Wilson, Anthony Idol, SoCal Crazy, all these great people that have taught me all these cool things, not just the things you see on TV, but the things behind the curtain. Like, I've had some great people teach me some stuff, and it's been quite an experience.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean, two of those guys you brought up, not only have I had on the podcast, but they were some of those guys that got me started with independent wrestling. Some of the first guys that I would see. And SoCal Crazy is like a brother to me. And you've actually been in the ring with him.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because, I mean, everything that he's been through, and now he's like making up for lost time, and like, who can really blame him?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's come back from his medical issues, and he's maybe better than ever. I mean, he still moves really well. Let me tell you. So I mean, that match was he certainly got me. Like he got me tired a lot more than I would have expected. I don't usually get tired in that ring, but man, he was blowing me up, and it was a lot of fun. It was quite an experience. Honestly, it was just an honor to even be in the ring with somebody that is the SoCal legend in Southern California.
Oh yeah, like I've had, I'm forgetting who it was that actually described it to me like this, but it was like the respect level that SoCal Crazy has down there is kind of akin to the way they saw the respect level in the locker room that the Undertaker had.
Yeah. Everyone down here knows SoCal Crazy, respects him, not only just in the ring, but as a person. He's a great guy, and he helps everyone. He is a lot like an Undertaker, where he gives you respect until you give him a reason to take it away, but he'll help anyone and everyone at every level try to get better. So I've always said that about him.
Oh yeah, and I've actually mentioned it to him, and I'm like, any chance I have to hype you up on this podcast, I'm not missing it, because good Lord, I don't need to go into too great a detail, but had personal stuff happen within the last year. One of the first people to check up on me was him.
Yeah. And
without me even asking, because I didn't ask, that cancer benefit show that he put on, he actually dedicated it to my two daughters that had passed away, like right before that show. And wow. I just remember because he brought it up, and I'm like, you do not have to do that.
Yeah.
You already got a good cause going there. You don't, but he insisted. So I'm just like, I can't thank him enough for that.
And that's really a testament to the person that he is, because he's like that with everyone. You know, anyone and everyone he meets. Even if, I mean, I didn't even know him that well at the start of the year. I mean, he was just coming back from his issues, and you know, right off the bat, he was already communicating with me and helping me without even talking to me more than maybe 10, 15 minutes in person. You know, he was already on the track of me.
Oh yeah, no, that is definitely every bit like him. And yeah, not enough good things I can say about him. But outside of that, what are some goals that you might have as far as, you know, your career progressing?
Well, the first one is the SoCal Pro Heavyweight Championship. I got to take that off Tommy Wilson as soon as I can.
Yeah, no, he's definitely got a bit of a tight grip on that right now. I know there was that little momentary thing where Anthony Idol got it from him, but he definitely got it back right away.
Yes, he did. So, I mean, that's certainly my first place that I'm putting my eyes on. But sooner than later, I'd like to try out for WWE and, you know, test those waters, see how that goes. I'm told by a lot of folks down here I'm probably going to have a pretty good shot once I go there. So we'll see how it goes.
No, I can definitely see where they're coming from. I mean, like I said, you're already kind of reminding me every time I see you and Gunther kind of like side by side. I see you both just so similar. So if, you know, all the stuff and success that he's having going on right now, hey, I can see it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if Gunther is my great colleague.
Hey, that would be one hell of a match right there. Now, one thing that I was curious, because I hadn't heard anything on this lately, but there was some posts on Facebook about muscle and fitness, and like I know you got the whole fitness thing going. Whatever came of that?
So there was someone else that won it, but I was up into the top within the top 10, I believe it was. I mean, I had I think 120 competitors to start, and each week it like reset the vote count, and you had to just keep voting for the same person each day if you wanted them to win. And I made it up to the top 9.
Hey,
so
that's
yeah,
something.
on the muscle and fitness cover. So I mean, I was honored. So many people down here really took to what I was doing. You know, not only with wrestling, but also with my business. You know, I make training programs for people and help people get stronger. I've written some books, and I have books on Amazon and my own website, MathiasMethod.com. So, you know, that's my first passion, which kind of came again from John Cena being strong and throwing the Khali, is just helping people get stronger and perform better. So, you know, I went to college and got a bachelor's degree in exercise science, and put that to use just by helping other people get stronger and perform better with my program books.
Oh, and that's awesome, because I was thinking that, you know, doing something like that kind of fits kind of right in with having to, you know, keep yourself trained and in shape for wrestling. You know, getting in that business there definitely fits kind of hand in hand, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you do wrestling, you got to be in shape, but also you have to be able to perform, like I said, week after week after week, multiple times per week. You know, and some people can do it once in a while, but the thing I always tell people is weak things break. So if you make your whole body a lot stronger, it's a lot harder to break you down. So then you can withstand all that torture, essentially. And a lot of what powerlifting training is, which is what I did for years. It's basically you're torturing yourself to get stronger until you get to that point where you're as strong as you can be.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, I have 2 categories here that I like to kind of I fit them in the show more towards the end. But first one, I have a bit of a name game where I try to tailor it towards the guest as much as possible. And the this time, since SoCal Pro's the home promotion for you, I figured we're going to do it where these guys each actually have one of the titles in SoCal Pro. So here we go. And you give me your first thoughts on the person when you hear their name.
Okay.
First one, we kind of talked about him a little bit. The reigning defending SoCal Pro heavyweight champion, Tommy Wilson.
Tommy Wilson. Coach is the one-word answer, because I mean he's taught me most of what I know. You know, he's my head coach. But as far as it comes to that title, he's next.
I like it. Kind of fitting along with the whole, going along with Goldberg thing there, taking the your next thing. I like it. I like it.
I keep it simple and straightforward,
Next up, the current SoCal Pro Golden State champion, Tanner Black.
Tanner Black. Oh, man. He is quite a character, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Tanner is really good at telling stories. But, it's just, he doesn't have what I have, I mean, he looks good. He moves well in the ring, but I have that strong base. And after I'm done with Tommy, I might just come after him next.
Hey, become the, as Deanna Purrazzo said a while back, become the champ.
Yeah.
All right. Next up. Well, and before we go on to the next one, interesting story that I've told with a few of the people from SoCal Pro that I've had on. When it comes to the Golden State title, I was actually there in the crowd the night they crowned the first ever one.
Yeah, who was that?
One to say Ricky Mandel.
Yeah, I think it was.
If it, like, anybody that ends up watching this, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I'm wanting to say Ricky Mandel. But yeah, I was there the night they crowned the first ever Golden State champ.
Wow.
Yeah, a memory that I carry with me, anyways.
How long ago was that?
Good Lord, I am trying to remember. I wanted to say it was shortly before my enlistment ended, if I'm not mistaken, and that would have been, I wanted to say 2012.
Okay, so quite a while.
It been a little bit, yeah. It's hard for me to believe that it's actually been that long since I was down there.
Yeah, 11 years, I guess.
Yeah, it's nuts. Now, next up, one half of the current, well, hopefully I'm not mistaken here, current still tag team champion, Anthony Idol.
Oh, the jacked giant, the neon phenomenon. Anthony Idol is one big force to be reckoned with, let me tell you. And like I said, I have a match with him on Saturday night. And, it's going to be quite a fight. Because, I mean, I'm the small, strong man. He's the big, strong man. We're going to see who really is the strongest because, just like a month and a half ago, I saw Anthony Idol press a man over his head and throw him into the third row. And I will say that was quite impressive. However, that following month, I picked up the biggest SOB that's ever set foot in a SoCal Pro ring, and I flipped him over. So that's something Anthony Idol has not done before. So I think this Saturday, that's going to be a good one. We're going to see who's going to come out on top.
That'll be an interesting one. I'm going to have to keep my eye on that. I'm hoping that they'll have that one live streamed on that SoCal Wrestling Roku channel, because I got it on my dang Roku TV. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out on that.
Absolutely. But even so, any and every match that I'm in, the next day I posted on my YouTube channel which, I am Mathias Wrestles on all social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm Mathias Wrestles on all that. And I post all my matches the very next day.
Hey, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that too.
Yeah.
Next up, I've actually been able to tell this guy this story, but the other half of the SoCal Pro Tag Team Champions, Ryan Kidd.
Yeah, he is also quite a character, and he's pretty good in the ring. He's been here for a long time. I think since he was a teenager. So he's got a lot of knowledge, a lot of talent, and he's international superstar. Goes down to Tijuana, Mexico often, and does a lot of wrestling down there. So he's a big deal superstar. But I'm pretty ready to knock him off his reign anytime he wants.
Oh yeah, he's been all over. And the story that I had about him was actually my first ever independent wrestling show was for the promotion New Wave Pro, but that has since shut down, which he was getting trained through them. And I believe it might have been before he actually started getting in the ring, because at that first ever show that I went to, sat down right next to me. I was sitting right next to him at that show.
Yeah.
And one time when he traveled up here to where I'm at now in Omaha, Nebraska, I was like, you sat right next to me at my first ever independent show back in it. And he was like, holy crap, I don't think I've ever met anybody that knew me from back then.
Yeah.
So it was something else.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, thinking back, it's like seeing him now compared to like no offense, back then when he was first getting started, he was like definitely a little bit scrawny, but then he's definitely built it up and he's solid. And like I remember, oh boy, this guy, another one that I've had on that goes by Terex. I saw him in a match with Ryan Kidd and just saw him doing multiple standing moonsaults onto Ryan Kidd, just one after another. And I'm like, ow.
Yeah, Terex is like the size of Visegra. He's like
very much
450, 500 pounds, and this dude's doing standing moonsaults. Yeah, Terex is something else. Anyway, I don't know how he does it, but he's certainly a different kind of human being. He's like a unicorn, like Brock Lesnar. It's unimaginable.
Oh yeah, definitely goes right along with some of those classic big guys that you would hear them say, big guy moving around like a cruiserweight. Like that guy, some of the moves he can pull off. I remember I took a friend to a show once after I saw him doing those standing moonsaults. And I'm like, I see when he's about ready to do it. I'm like, I just look over, I nudge my friend. I'm like, watch.
Yeah.
And to see my friend's jaw just drop, it was like, oh, yes.
Yeah, it's wild. And, he's bigger than Bronson Reed. So like, imagine Bronson Reed doing one,
Yeah. No, but hell, Bronson Reed, going back to him, some of the stuff he's able to do, another one of those guys, big guys that, you wouldn't think were able to move around as great and athletically as they do, and just damn.
Yeah, but I know that they said when Bronson Reed first came in, he had a powerlifting background. Mm-hmm. And that strength, it really allows you to do so much more, which is why I always want people to get stronger, just for the athletic benefits. You can move yourself around if you can, squat twice your body weight or something like that. It's so much easier to do everything.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, my next category I have is some random questions I never really know, besides a couple, what I'm putting in until I'm literally writing my notes together.
Okay.
And you just give me the first thought that the first answer that pops into your head.
Okay.
First one, and this is the one I always love to start off with. Craziest in-match moment for you. Or if you can't think of one, craziest one that you've been there to witness.
Well, I am still relatively new. I mean, I just debuted pretty much in late January. I had a match or two before that, but my actual debut was in January.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this for 7-8 months. So I haven't had a lot of time for crazy stuff. But if you saw any of my social medias this last month, I had a no disqualification match at a baseball stadium. And we had Judiz jumping off the top rope, trying to give me an elbow to break through the table, and the table didn't break.
So, yeah, those are always the worst.
Yeah, the table, it was reinforced with steel, and it's just the one that they grabbed, so we just stuck it up there, and, in the middle of a match, you don't know what's going to break, what's not, but it did. I still felt like it bounced when he elbowed me, and then one of the legs kind of folded under, and I slid down it. So, I mean, that's probably the craziest thing is it didn't break, but I mean, he got me.
I was gonna say that right in and of itself is a pretty dang crazy moment for sure.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people on social media went a little crazy about it. So, I mean, it was wild.
You know what? I think I do remember actually seeing a clip of that somewhere. I'm like, Al.
Yeah, Al was correct.
Yeah. Because I remember one time I was sitting front row for a show, and the guy, one of my good friends actually, was getting tossed out of the ring, and it happened to be right by where they had the ring announcer, the ring bell and stuff set up at ringside. Ended up landing right in between the two people at the table, and it was one of those it wasn't a wood table, it was more, I think, plastic, but it just kind of dented a little bit, and it was like, oh, that hurts.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts whether it breaks or it doesn't, but I think it's a little bit better if it breaks your fall, but it doesn't feel nice. Either way, it doesn't feel nice.
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah. Now, this is one that, I've had in this category before. I figure it might be an interesting question to ask here, but what would you say is your spirit animal?
Tiger.
I like it.
I've always liked tigers, not only because I also love the Rocky movies and Rocky 3, they have the eye of the tiger, but I mean, I've also, like I said, I was in martial arts for a long time. The tiger to me is the king of the jungle, more so than even a lion. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure a tiger would beat a lion. I mean, they're bigger, and to me, they're more agile and maybe even stronger. So that's what I've always liked is I felt myself as kind of being a tiger in life is, I always have the eyes focused on my one goal, and I'm doing whatever I can, building my strength and my athleticism to get to that point. So I've always felt tiger.
Hey, that is a great answer. And I mean, going to the zoo here in Omaha, tigers are one of my personal favorite animals there to go see, probably right up with the gorillas. Actually, I love going and seeing them. And that was another one I thought you might have answered that.
No, I'm not Mark Henry. He's a silverback. He can keep that.
Okay. Yeah. No, you know what? I almost forgot that he actually ran with that for a little bit. So.
Oh man, I love it. It was simple, and it was him. He was the silverback of the whole WWE. It made so much sense.
Oh yeah, especially when he was going through that Hall of Pain run that he had. Oh my God. Yeah, you definitely didn't want to mess with him around then.
Yeah, I really liked his intensity and everything he was doing.
Oh, most definitely. Now, going kind of along the fitness route here, I was hearing somebody, I think it was actually earlier today, sometimes I listen to podcasts at work, and they were talking about, every once in a while having that cheat meal because, going through wrestling, you're wanting to eat right and, keep yourself in shape. But, every now and then it's nice to have that cheat meal. What would you say if you have a cheat meal? What is the thing you like to have in there as whenever you can?
Rather than a meal, it's more just a part of the meal, and that's just dessert. I go for ice cream. Ice cream is always my go-to. I don't have it too often, but that's my guilty pleasure. Is when I can, I have a little bit of ice cream. And actually, I don't even like the full fat version. I actually like the light version to me. So, it's not so dense, and actually, I can actually have more of it without all the calories. So I've always liked just simple ice cream.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. I mean, I do enjoy ice cream myself. I mean, I'm not as
Yeah.
I got a bit of a gut on me, but hey, the way I've always joked with people about this, and I'm like, you know what? If God didn't want me eating it, He wouldn't have made it so damn tasty.
that's pretty good. But even me just doing my whole fitness route is I've always told people to find the things that you can eat all the time that you enjoy. So I don't have, like I said, my cheat meal or my guilty pleasure too often because I generally enjoy what I have most days anyway. It's usually meat, fruit, and vegetables is the main piece of it. Once in a while I'll have like some oats and some honey and things like that. So I enjoy my meals and I don't have to worry, stress too much about having the cheats.
Yeah. No, hey, that makes it that much easier when you actually thoroughly enjoy the stuff, that the healthy eating already. It doesn't make it that hard to just keep with it.
Yeah.
Now, this one is one that I haven't asked too much, but for some reason I thought it would be an interesting question to add in here. But what would you say is a phobia you have, if any?
A phobia? Matthias isn't scared of anything. What are you talking about?
Hey, all right. I like it.
Phobia? I mean, we're all going to die at some point. What's there to be scared of?
Hey, you know what? I like the answer. I like it.
I mean, if I have to say something, I don't like spiders, but if one's on me, I'll just flick it off. I'm not going to, scream.
Not freak out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like bugs, but it's not like I am too phobic of them,
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I like it. I'm trying to remember who it was that brought up not liking to be out in the deep water of the ocean. And I'm like, you know what? I told him you might find it weird with me having been a Navy veteran, but yeah, if I'm out that far where you can like literally only see water everywhere,
yeah,
just keep me in the damn boat. I'm not swimming. I don't like. I have, and you know what? I don't think that this clip from the trailer of this movie helps out my fear any, but it's showing up in the Meg 2, where there's this little boat, and then underneath you can see it coming up out of the water, this Meg, and just the mouth. I'm like,
that's for you.
if I'm gonna be in water and I'm gonna be in somewhat deep, I want to be able to see the bottom so I know what's coming.
Yeah, well, my fiance, she wants to go swimming with sharks, so I'm not allowed to have that phobia. I got to be prepped for it.
Yeah. I'm like, I could do the whole being in the water, but I'd be one of those that would be like in the shark cage, like right next to the boat.
Yeah.
I can manage that, I think.
Hey, you got to die of something, man.
Yeah. Now, this one, no, you're relatively new to the business here, but what would you say is, well, either some best advice that you have for anybody wanting to get in the business, or we could go another route here. What would you say is some of the best advice that you have been given so far?
Well, the best advice that I have is just start. So many people put it off and wait and wait and wait, not necessarily until it's too late, but they just wait too long. So if you want to get in, just start. I mean, it's going to be different than you ever imagined. And that could be a really good thing, or it could be a little bit harsh on you. But to me, it's just start. Because once you start, then you can start continuing with your training, getting in shape, looking better. But there's so much you have to learn, not just the moves, but the psychology of it that takes so long to do. I mean, I'm still working on all aspects of my training. I'm still relatively new that's the way I treat everything is I'm still putting in the effort as often as I can every day to try to make myself better. Like as soon as I'm done with this, I'm leaving to go to training, for 3 hours. I did training last night for 3 hours. I'm doing it again later this week and I got a match. So I'm still doing as much as I can to learn the whole business and be as good as I can at every aspect. But you have to just come and start. There's a lot of people just don't take that first step. And it's maybe that's what people are phobic of. That's what they're scared of. But you have to get over that phobia sooner than later, because it takes a long time to really get good at this. So you need to just start.
Oh yeah, and it kind of reminds me of two quotes that I've heard that I think fit right along with that. And one is that one that's like, correct me if I'm wrong about the exact phrasing of it, but every journey starts with that first step. You got to make the decision to start it. And the other one about everything you want is on that other side of fear.
Yeah, both of those perfect. Yeah.
So like you thinking about it, it's something you've always wanted to do. You might be a little scared, but starting that journey, that first step, and boom, who knows, you might be the next damn John Cena.
Exactly. I mean, everyone has their uniqueness. You don't know who's going to be that next top star. I mean, LA Knight didn't necessarily come out of nowhere. He's a big talk of the town right now. He's been working at it for so long, though. And that's what a lot of the wrestlers that come out are. They've been working at it for so long. But if LA Knight's just starting now, he's never getting to where he is. He has to been doing all this for years and years and years to build himself up. Actually, the second part of your question is what's the best advice I've ever gotten? And it actually was from Anthony Idol. He told me one time that you can't tell me this is your dream if you're not willing to put in the work to prove that it's your dream. Like put in the work every single day. I mean, pro wrestling is not a once a week or twice a week or even 3-4 times a week. It's an everyday thing. There's always something to do, always something to work on. So you can't say this is your dream and not put in the work like it's your dream. So a lot of people will say those words, but they really have to put the work in that shows that this is what you want. Either you want it or you don't.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And like people like that can also apply to hell. When people would ask me closer to when I got out of the Navy about, and different questions about enlisting, I'm like, one, make sure it's what you want to do and go out, prove it, and then don't let anybody tell you no, because hell, I had people laughing at me when I told them that I was enlisting. And then hell, I used that every damn day of my enlistment when I thought, oh man, what am I doing? But then I remembered those people and I'm like, you know what? I'm not proving them right.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of goes along the same way there. You might have your detractors, but then, you get in those moments where you might be doubting yourself. Don't prove them right.
Yeah. I mean, you don't get worse at something you try at all the time. So,
yep.
Most definitely. Earlier, I mean, you just start and then just keep working at it and keep the same motivation that you had before you started. You know, like I said, pro wrestling is hard. It's harder than you imagine. And so many people have said that. And even before I got in pro wrestling, I'm like, oh, I know what they mean. I've done hard things before, but this is a different kind of hard. You know, it's not that you can't do it. It just takes a lot of work.
That it does. That it does. Now, that is about all I have. But before we go, you kind of mentioned it. You did mention it before, but we'll say it again right here. Where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on Mathias, they can go ahead and get them there.
Yeah, please do. At Mathias Wrestles on all social media. It's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whichever one it is these days. You can find me at Mathias Wrestles on all of those things. If you want any of my fitness or my powerlifting stuff, just go to mathiasmethod.com. I sell books and programs from there and some apparel and things. So you might enjoy that stuff as well. And also, always check out SoCalProWrestling.com. We always have events and things coming up. It's it's the promotion for SoCal, so I'd check it out if you're around here.
Oh, yeah. Nope. And hell, next time I'm down there, I'm hoping it'll be around a showtime because I'm itching to get back to a SoCal Pro show. That is for sure.
Yeah, we will get my autograph.
Oh, dang. Yeah, no, I'm always looking for stuff from people that I've had on. So, no, most definitely. But like I said, that is about all I have. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. I know you got some training to get over to, but best of luck out there.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed it and appreciate it.
Thank you.